Hey, is that folk music that you play there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horse sing.
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
Thank you.
Welcome to Horses Sing None of It. My name is Ralph Litwin, the host of the show, and you've been experiencing the music of the Quatro Project, and we have with us the director of the Quatro Project, Juan Sotomayor. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ralph. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. And I'd like you to introduce the rest of the members of your group here today.
Okay, playing the antique Quatro is Yomi Matos, and playing the Tiple Doliente is Pucho Matos, and playing Arguiro is Roberto Rivera, and I'm playing the Bordonua, the bass notes.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Thanks for coming down to share your talents with us.
Thank you, it's our
That's
pleasure.
some very beautiful music.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about what kind of music is this?
Well, this is traditional Puerto Rican music. The piece that we just played is called Aurora by Maestro Ladi Martinez. And it's a mazurka. So that's traditional music from the 19th century, mazurkas, danzas. We play also the seis, which is probably the oldest musical genre of Puerto Rico and the most important. So we play that type of music, which was very popular in the 19th century.
Somewhere in my memory, I remember hearing that there were Hungarian mazurkas too.
Well, yeah, the mazurka comes from a town in Hungary called Mazur, and it passes over into Spain and eventually from Spain to Puerto Rico.
Wow.
And it becomes popular among the upper classes, and then it passes on also to the interior regions where the Jibaros also pick it up as well.
Jibaros, what is...
Well, Jibaros, it really means mountain people, the people of the mountains. So they live in the interior regions of Puerto Rico, and they have a very traditional type of music, which is called Jibaro music. La decimal, seis, mapeye, seis chorreao. This is the music of the interior regions, and it was played primarily with these instruments that you see here.
I see. Is there something else you'd like to share with us about this traditional music?
Well, the ensemble that you're seeing here and the folks are hearing is the typical Jibaro orchestra of the 19th century, which was Quatro, this type of Quatro with 10 strings, and earlier than that it had 4 strings, and the tiple, which plays the chords, and I play the bass notes, and the guiro has always been used. And then this type of an ensemble changes in the 19th century when the guitar starts to come out in the early 1800s, replaces the bordonua and the tiple. And it becomes easier for a Quatro player to play because all he needs is one musician. And the guitars were also easier to fabricate. These instruments were very difficult to make. So gradually, the modern Jibaro orchestra becomes Quatro, guiro, and guitarra. The Quatro, the guiro, and the guitar.
So I imagine you're very unusual in that you're one of the very few groups that are preserving this historical type of music.
Well, yeah, we're preserving more or less. We're interested in preserving these instruments, and we're doing the Quatro project is started about 6-7 years ago by William Compiano, Will Echevarria, and myself. And what we're doing is conducting interviews and photographing instruments, doing research in these instruments for a book and a video that will be published within about a year, which is called The Quatro Is My Flag. And at the end of this year, we hope to bring out a video that's the Puerto Rican music of Hawaii, where the traditions were kept up over the years.
You were telling me a little bit before about the construction of this particular instrument, which was quite interesting. You want to tell our viewers how that is done?
Okay, these instruments are made of one solid piece of wood. The back, sides, neck, and head are carved out of one solid block of wood. Then the instrument is hollowed out, and you put the top on. And a traditional way of making the bridge, which normally you would glue on like as on a guitar, it was made actually carved out of the top. And the reason for that was that the glues were not strong enough to hold the pressure of the strings. So one other interesting feature of this instrument is the wide frets.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
And it gives you a sound like this.
Plenty of vibrato in there.
Yeah, they call that el chillido de la bordonua, or the trill of the bordonua. Scream. Yeah, the scream of the bordonua. Yeah. So all the instruments, by the way, are fabricated in the same fashion. They're still being done that way. And this collection, this collection was made by Vicente Valentin Rivera of Vega Baja, Puerto Rico.
For those who are not familiar with guitar construction, the normal way that this would be modernly done is that it's made out of several pieces of wood.
Exactly.
The sides would be one piece and so forth.
Yeah, they would bend the sides with steam, and then the sides would be one part, the top, the back, the neck, all separate parts. But here, all the sides, the back and the neck, it's all one solid piece.
Carved out of one solid piece.
Carved out, right.
That's pretty amazing.
A lot of work.
A lot of work, I'm sure. Well, you want to play us another piece of music?
Okay, we'd like to do a danza. Danza is a type of music that became the national music of Puerto Rico in the last century, and it eventually it was up for the upper classes. The upper classes was their music, but eventually it passes on to the other classes as well. So the one we want to do is called Tuya es mi vida, Yours is my life, by Rafael Morel Campos. Thank you.
Very beautiful music.
Thank you.
So, what does the word quatro mean?
Well, cuatro means four in Spanish, and the reason for that is that the cuatro started out with 4 strings. It had the same shape, the square shape here on the top, basically the same design, but with 4 strings that were made out of gut. And towards the latter part of the 1800s, we know that in 1887 there was a cuatro with 5 double strings. That's what this has. And eventually the shape of the instrument will change in the early 1900s, where it's more of a violin shape.
Do we know much about the earlier history of where it came from originally and how it developed?
Yeah, well, the tuning of the early cuatro comes from the 4-string Spanish guitar. Now the shape, I've been able to trace it back to 1000 AD from Persia, an instrument from Persia called a dotar. Do for 2, tar for string, and it had basically this shape, and that shape. And the way that instrument could have gotten, of course, to Puerto Rico is from Persia, taken into Africa, and then Spain by the Moors, and eventually spreads to the west coast of Africa, and it could have gotten in a number of ways into Puerto Rico, either through the African the trade, slave trade in the 1800s. I mean, it starts actually in the 16th century, or it could have been taken there by the Moors as well, this design.
Very interesting. History, how these things travel around. The gentlemen who play with you also have interesting biographies and are involved in interesting things. Maybe we could hear about, I know Mr. Rivera there is a scientist. Can you share with us a little about what you do in your regular?
Well, my day-to-day, I'm a scientist at Alpha Roche, and I work with mammalian cell cultures. And on my spare time, I learn how to play the Quatro, and I'm also apprenticing in the learning of how to build the Puerto Rican Quatro. And actually, John can get a little bit more information on how we got this apprenticeship.
Right. Actually, Roberto is the first one of these gentlemen that I spoke with. I saw this article. I don't know if, Bob, you can get a shot of this article here on the board. There was an article in the New Jersey section of the New York Times about Roberto and Yomi and their apprentice-master relationship and the support from the New Jersey Council of the Arts. And I thought to myself, that sounds like some fascinating music that must be going on there. And so I called up. I went through all kinds of rigmarole to find your number. I had to call the lady at the Arts Council, and finally she gave me your number. And that's how we got connected.
Who was it at the Art Council? Was it Rita Mancini?
Exactly,
Yeah,
yes.
Rita, she's been very, very helpful in all our work, and she's been helping us for a number of years now, and we appreciate very much her help.
Well, it's certainly nice to get support from the Arts Council.
Oh, definitely.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah.
And Pucho is, I don't know, I guess you're a professional musician?
Yes, I am. I'm a freelance bass player in the city of New York. I play with the top 4 or 5 salsa bands in New York. And I also teach privately in Passaic in a private school there. And I do a lot of arranging for different bands, teach, and freelance. Bass is my original instrument. I play the Quatro. My father here was the one that taught me from the roots as I was a child here. So in my spare time, I dedicate all my love and care to trying to preserve this instrument, you know?
And Mr. Matos is, I read in the article, a professional musician, has played with Paul Simon and plays internationally.
As a matter of fact, I've been recording with, Paul Simon, Johnny Albino, this singer, a great singer, played with a trio, with a call them Los Panchos. It's a great trio from Mexico. Actually, I've been working with him for 19 years already. But not only that, I've been working with the Quatro craft, making the Quatros and the guitars. I got my own shop. I've been teaching.
How long have you been an instrument maker?
I've been developing this kind of work. It took me about 25 or 26 years already. So I've been developing this skill little by little, but I didn't realize that I was and I never thought I had to do some teaching like actually doing now, thanks to Sotomayor, Rita Manzoni.
Yeah, Rita Manzoni,
like once said before, she's been very helpful with us, and we've been working together, and we are making a team. That's a team. This is a team. Roberto, Pucho, Juan, Rita, has been working together, and we're having a nice relationship. Yeah.
Great. How about another team song?
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Got time?
Is it? Do we have time to do one more in between?
Yeah, we can do a seis choriao. Seis is a very important musical genre of Puerto Rico, and this is a fast seis. Okay? Oh yeah, that's hot music.
Okay, we'd like to give your number, Juan, so that people who are interested in the Quatro project can call for more information. And that number is?
It's 908-238-3087.
That's your home number,
That's my home number.
Please don't call too late, folks.
And that's the Quatro Center, where we have all kinds of things regarding the Quatro.
Very good. And we're going to have a future show. The next episode of Horses Sing Now is going to be dedicated to the more modern Quatro orchestra.
Yeah, right.
And what would you say is the future for these historical instruments?
Well, the future is incredible. It's fantastic. In the past 30 years, there's been a tremendous increase in the popularity of all the instruments. But of course, the Quatro is the national instrument of Puerto Rico. And we have many young people studying the Quatro from 6 years old up. We have, I was able to present Pedro Guzmán Jíbaro Jazz with the Quatro at the Blue Note 2 years ago. We've heard it in classical music, we hear it in classical music, jazz, so it's in all types of music, and it's evolving gradually, you know, depending on the type of music that it's going to be used for. But even Sting has 2 Quatros, and the Orquesta de la Luz, Japanese orchestra, they're using Quatros. So it's becoming extremely popular, and I think people are realizing that it's an incredible and wonderful instrument for melody playing.
Well, it certainly sounds beautiful. The whole orchestra sounds great.
Thank you.
Very nice. We do have about 4.5 minutes left to play that other number. Is that
Okay. Would you join us?
Yes, I'd love
Okay.
to. They taught me how to play on this little simple number.
We're going to do the Secha Real now, but Ralph is going to join us with the banjo and the harmonica. This is probably a first that we have this ensemble with, with new instruments.
All right.
Take it away, Johnny.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ralph.
We'd like to thank you once again for coming out to Horses Sing None of It to share your talents. We'd like to let everybody out there know that the program Horses Sing None of It is a project of the Folk Project based in Mendham, New Jersey at Box 41. You can write us for more information, or you can call me at 201-538-2432 for more information. And we're non-profit, non-commercial. Sometimes we need volunteers. If you happen to live in the Dover-Morris County area and would like to get involved, you can call me at that number, 201-538-2432, and we'll let you know what's happening. We actually have another minute and a half to...
Should we continue with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
Let's go.
Thanks again.
Okay, thank you, Ralph.